Okay, moving on to 8.4, Oasis volunteer policy. We've gone over this one several times. I asked if it had gone through OCC again. Did it go through, can somebody confirm that it went through OCC and somebody reviewed it somewhere else?
I know that they didn't have it at one of the meetings, so that's why she tabled it.
Okay.
And she was supposed to have it at the following, which I didn't.
They had it, yeah, they had it at the last meeting.
Was there any feedback from OCC?
Um,
That we know.
There were no, there was, nothing that would change what's in front of you. I don't, well, there was feedback, but nothing.
Okay, well, if there's no one who can confirm feedback, I don't have an issue with postponing this yet again.
Yeah.
But is there no comment?
No, postpone.
Yes. Check.
I think with the future that we're seeing, and you guys seem to be more positive, which is great, but having guidelines on parent volunteers when we're already is just probably not the right time. I do agree with having approval, but like I know parents like myself where it says approval from the executive director, I come when I can, just because of the time permitting with work. So having guidelines as to how many hours and getting pre-approval, I think would discourage a lot of parents, which you said you wanted to have the Oasis that was promised and the Oasis that was supposed to be in the future, and that certainly isn't the Oasis that was promised. Guidelines legally that you have to cover for liabilities, completely understand. But limiting the amount of parent hours and how long and who you need to get approval from, I think isn't the Oasis that was promised.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, so I'd like to, just because I haven't heard from OCC, and I think this is a really great way for, chop it up, friends. This is
I'm
where
sorry.
it needs to, yeah, go ahead.
I do because, I mean, if Amanda was saying earlier, not a lot of parents come to the meetings, and then we have not a lot of parents. Kat was saying too about volunteers, only said on her fixed up that day. This is sometimes the only way we could force parents sometimes to do the extra volunteer. So, I mean, it goes both ways. I understand, like she says, she works and she don't have the time. But it also sometimes the parents feel a little bit more forced. Then that's how that they end up
This isn't
doing the
forcing, this is
most.
limiting.
Yeah, you know, both ways.
Well, thank you for your comment.
Yeah.
So I'd like, yet again, to get some feedback to move forward. So anyway, entertain a motion to postpone for the next meeting. Okay, can I get a second? Okay, motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, there you go. Someone, I urge, maybe the new parent group can get this in somehow and do some revisions or talk to OCC.
Yeah.
I just, at one point, we'll have to move forward because it's been on the agenda, so, but I agree, it needs to go through some more. Yes.
I am on the OCC, and we did talk about it for like a full 30 to 40 minutes, like Lucy's nodding her head, and we did make revisions. I don't know what happened to those revisions.
They're the ones the second time, so those revisions did get.
Okay,
added.
so then maybe just talk about that new copy, and then that would be, I guess, on our OCC agenda, is to maybe talk about that new revised copy, because I know we made a bunch of
New
notes.
revised copies,
But
so I
maybe-
guess it'd be like new feedback, then. we
Okay, so another feedback.
Yeah, all the changes are the change from the last meeting. So I kept it color coded so that I could keep track of what changes were made at what point.
Okay, so then it did go through OCC review.
It did.
I'd like to get some feedback. When I ask it, next time, let me know that. It might not be where everyone wants it. Why is this thing off? Oh, battery died, guys. I think my voice carries. I don't really need it. So I think these are important policies, obviously. Not everyone's going to agree with everything that's put on the paper, but the more input that we receive, the better decision we're going to be making, right? And so please, I urge everyone to go home and mark it up and provide the suggestions so that when we approve something like this, we don't have to go back and forth to review it, revise it every time that there's something new. So we've postponed it probably about 3 times already. And so I urge everyone to please provide. I am going to probably entertain this, I mean, unless there were some changes made to the policy before, on 8.5, Oasis conditions for classroom and school visitation, and removal policy. What's that?
Well, it was reviewed and remember we made it into two separate ones, but.
All the blue, the changes are in blue, the latest changes. The first were in red, and I separated the one into two. As requested.
I need some guidance from the board here before I.
Sheldon. Personally, I've read it, and it's more or less what we've talked about, and it seems that it would be fine to vote on if people feel comfortable with it.
I have a question about that, while you're looking.
Yeah.
So on the 48-hour notice for like the approval or for the classroom, is that up to the teacher's discretion or is that solely going to be to the executive directors? Whose discretion is that? Like I don't always have 48 hours, so could I contact the teacher and say I have tomorrow off work? Am I able to come into the classroom?
What number is that, so I can follow you?
This is on the 8.5.
Point number 3 on the removal policy. And point number 3 on the removal.
Point number 3, okay. That's what I meant. Well, this doesn't pertain to parents. Right? Am I correct in saying that?
I'm looking at Oasis Charter Public School conditions for classroom and school visitation.
Right.
And under the bullet number 1, there's 2 paragraphs and there's number 1. It's page 1 of 8 in this
Right.
part. It says visits during school hours should first be arranged with the teacher and/or executive director or designee. So does that answer your question?
Hold on.
There is an iPad, a Chromebook there.
Yeah, I have it. I'm just on another page.
Yeah, we're trying to find the visitation policy. Volunteer policy?
No.
No, this is the Oasis
Conditions
Charter.
for classroom and school visitation. That's what it says at the top of the paper, on the first page. And what I just read is on the first page. It's under subheading number 1.
Oh, here, side.
And again, you can spend all year looking at this and you know, we can't please everyone.
No, I'm
Everyone has
sorry.
different opinions, but the board has to make a decision to either table it for the future, or cancel it completely, or approve it, as it has been revised for the past 4 months at least.
Amanda was asking about the document that says classroom and school volunteer policy, point number 3, so a different article.
Yeah, sorry, I was.
So it's a different paper, and this one's titled Classroom and School Volunteer Policy. Point number 3 says volunteering must be arranged with the classroom teacher and/or executive director or designee at least 48 hours in advance.
Right, that's why it says and or.
So that's what I was asking, like, could I approach the teacher the day before and ask?
And or.
Yeah, probably, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's a grant.
That's all. I just want to know if it was like a no-no if it's not 48 hours in advance.
So that's not that's not on this agenda to be approved. Oh, it's not.
Yeah, it's attached, that's why, sorry, I got
Yeah, no, I got
confused
it,
because it's in
I
there
get
too.
it. So the one we're talking about right now to approve is the Oasis conditions for classroom and school visitation, which has pretty much the same stipulations of either the executive director or designee or teacher.
Yes. Well, considering our attendance for OCC meetings has only been 8 to 10 people, sometimes tops 12, and for them to provide input on a policy that affects the whole school, then we can do a survey. Second, there's already been a motion to table it, in the motion, so I think the motion has to be voted on. Yeah.
You motioned it.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I get a second? For the motion is it. Okay, all those in favor of the motion, postpone for the next meeting? Can I hear an aye for? Aye. Okay, any no's?
No.
There's one no, 2 no's? Okay. Mine's postponed. I urge everyone, this is my last urge to, please, if nothing happens at the next one, it goes and we live with the consequences of this policy. Okay? You have until when's the next meeting? June what?
Whenever you want to make it, June 13, 14, we don't have a date. We don't have a date. So, but no, we don't have a date for the next meeting. We want to make it June 12. We don't have a date for the next meeting.
Okay. In June, all of these policies will be approved. So please, input or no input, let it be put in the record that these will be approved. All right?
Yes, and they have been sent via parent squares also, and they get via parent square. It's too much paperwork to be sending copy papers to the homes, and in English and Spanish.
Okay.
So all efforts have been made. What, the 12, oh, he's looking at the 12. Mike is looking at the 12. That's the next meeting, and then there needs to be an end of the month meeting in June, so.
That'd be the 26th.
Okay, the 26th potentially.
Very well.